So here's why Japanese people are so smart and why they do so good on tests. Because Japan lies and cheats. I work in the English division of Japanese education, and let me just say, these students are not the brightest. They're not necessarily bad kids, but they're not that fucking smart either. So let me give you a few examples of this. I know everyone's already clicked off the video. How dare you say Japanese people aren't geniuses? Only Americans are stupid. But let me give you some actual examples, and maybe you can make up your own decision later. So my first job was a junior high school, just a ALT, assistant English teacher. And I remember during test time, well, first of all, I would go around and be like, does anyone want any extra practice? We got 10 minutes between tests. And they were just like, just jumping around, screaming, tackling each other, just having a fucking, basically recess in the classroom. I was like, this is shocking. I thought Asian students, I thought Japanese students were supposed to be real studious. All they do is study. I'm like, these kids are just like, 10 minutes? How can I fucking jump around and like tackle my friends? Whoa, this is great. Needless to say, they did not do good on the tests. But, so during that time, I'm not teaching. I'm literally just sitting in the teacher's lounge. And the math teacher who I was kind of friends with, he was like, here, why don't you try the math test too? And I was like, ugh, I'm not very good at math, but okay, this will eat up, some time. So I take the test, he grades it, and he's like, you got 50%. I'm like, oh no. I thought I would get more than 50. That's so bad. And he's like, no, that's good. That's good. I'm like, no, 50's not good. That's only half. But he's like, no, that's average. Like, most of the kids don't do better than 50. I'm like, oh, should you be telling me this? So basically, I was just like, kind of shocked that like 50's considered good here. Like, that's why they fucking think they're so smart. Like, if you got 50% in America, I've had teachers get mad at the class when the average was like high 60s in America. But in Japan, it's like, yeah, 50%. Yeah, you got 45. That ain't bad either. That's a little below 50 though. I've seen kids get like 3%, and they're just like, it's not so bad. But okay, so that's just one experience. So now I work in the Eikaiwa division, which is like the after schools, you teach them English, and it's just more time where they can run and scream, and their parents don't have to deal with them. But it's not really about studying. So we have tests twice a year, a midterm and a final. Now, at my old school, the manager was a woman who would let them retake the questions numerous times. I'm like, that's not something we would do in America. It's like you get the one chance, or maybe if something happens or if you're disabled or something, you can do it again. I don't know. But in general, it's just like, you can just, and she would stand by them the second time too while they're listening to the CD, and like, she would even say like, don't you think it's more number 3? And the kids are like, I saw number 1. She's like, I think it's more of number 3. See, 1, 2. She's like guiding the pencil. I think it's number 3. And the kids are like, oh, you want to put number 3? She's like, oh. She just grabbed his pencil and, wow, he did so good on the test. And I'm sitting there watching this as an American, like, aren't you supposed to discourage cheating? Like, that's a big no-no in America. Like, you don't fucking just give kids answers. Like, you get in so much trouble for that. But in Japan, they don't care. Especially at a business. They want to bump the numbers up. Yeah, your kid didn't get 0% because I gave him at least 10 points. Like, that's something that would never happen in America. There's times when the kids just didn't do part of the test. And then I get in trouble. Why didn't you make them do part of the test? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they were mentally competent enough to do all 3 parts. It's only a 20-minute test. But if it was America, the teacher would be like, you didn't fucking answer it. Why are you fucking so stupid? But in Japan, it's like, you didn't answer it. Let me give you the answer. Nobody needs to know. And the parents don't care if they cheat. And the schools don't care. And the kids don't want to be there. So they don't give a fuck. They don't give a shit about these tests. So that's another example of how Japanese people do very good on tests. Oh yeah, when you just give them multiple chances and you give them some of the answers. Another thing, at this current school I'm working at, there's one girl there. She's a okay kid, but she's not very bright. You can just tell by looking at her, and you can tell by talking to her even more. She's not very bright. She's fine. She's a good kid though. So the Japanese guy I work with goes, yeah, she did okay on the first part of the reading test, but then she missed every single question on the last part. So she's only going to get like 7 points out of 30. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. He's like, I feel like she should have at least got some points on it. I'm like, no, she's stupid. I could have told you that. I could have just said, don't take the test. Just give her 7 points. I could have told you that before she took it. He's like, I feel like some of these answers she could have got right, so I'm just going to mark them right on her test. I'm like, what? But I've already had 8 years of experience with this bullshit, so I'm like, why are you telling me? Just do it. I don't care. These are your Japanese kids lying. I'm like, yeah, I guess you can do okay on a test when the teacher's just like, erase all these wrong answers and just right answer, right answer, right answer, right answer. I feel like she would have got them. Oh, is that how we judge how well you can take a class? I feel like you were probably okay. I mean, you didn't do okay, but I feel like you could have done okay if you weren't fucking stupid. So that's another example of like, wow, so smart. Now, when they take legitimate tests, they fucking fail them all the time. There's something called Aiken, and it's like English blah 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 test. So now, these Aiken tests, some of them are easy, and if you're like 10 years old and you're taking like a 6-year-old's test, you're probably gonna pass it. But some of them get kind of hard. And especially for high schoolers and junior high kids who just don't even fucking try in the class. And then they ask us, the American teachers, afterwards, she keeps fucking failing. She keeps taking this very basic test for 4 years in a row and she's almost there. She almost got it. But she's like a couple points away. Why does she keep fucking failing? Maybe it's because she doesn't fucking try studying. Do you think that's the answer? Like, they don't give a fuck about kids' education in this country. They only care about passing tests. And they don't pass tests unless the teachers pass it for them. So, when you have a company giving out tests that are used to get into better schools, let's say, they fucking fail them all the time. They can't even pass the fucking 3 points they could be getting for just having a good personality. Like one girl, it was, let's say 50 is what you need to pass, and she got 49. And it's like, there's 3 possible extra points for like, you come in and you're just friendly, like, hello, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, thank you. And like, that's all you have to do. Fucking failed the 3 points for that. Oh, how can she maybe pass the test in the future? How about you just fucking smile for, I don't know, 2 minutes when they greet you? They can't even pass these. Hi, my name is Dave Smith. Hello, what's your name? Ugh. All right, 0 points. I'm sorry. you can only pass this portion when the Japanese teacher is in the room going, "Hello, my name is," like they can't even pass the greetings, general basic greetings. So, and here's another thing. Like in America, I know a lot of teachers have a problem with this. They group in everybody, even disabled kids, mentally retarded children. They're still under the same criteria as all the other school students. So those students' poor scores affect the average of the entire school and the country and all that. But in Japan, they don't do that. Mentally challenged students just have their own little corner of the school where they just kind of, I don't know, do fun tasks and crafts. I don't have a problem with that. It's actually a pretty good idea. But that's what's going to lead to having higher test averages. When you just go, well, we don't test everyone. People who aren't going to pass, we just don't test them. Like, it's unfair to get compared to a country who doesn't count everyone when you do. Now, I think America shouldn't do that. I don't think mentally challenged students should have to take written tests that they don't comprehend. Like, they should do other tests to help them grow and, progress with their own life. But it's not fair to compare test scores that aren't, the same criteria. And here's another thing about Japanese grading scales. So in America, it's like, a lot of the times, I guess it'd be like 90 to 100 is an A, but then it's like 100%, 99, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of times in Japan, it's like 100% to 80. Now there's a lot of wiggle room there. So if one kid gets 100% and 99 kids get an 80, well, that's 100 people that got 80 to 90%. And then you'd go down like, so 80 to 60. That seems a little unfair. Well, one kid got a 79, and then 99 kids got a 60. Well, that's still in the B range. So I feel like America's grading criteria is a lot stricter. I feel like Japan is more just like, you did a good enough, so you get the top grade. They have these surveys that are like this for our school. 20 parents said 80 to perfect. Yay, we got perfect. That's good. I feel like a lot of them were like, it's not bad enough to be in the mid-range, but I guess 80. 80's fine. So you go, yay, we did good. Hooray, hooray. Like, I don't feel like we did as good as what we're being told we did. I don't feel like the students are doing as good as what the schools and teachers are saying they're doing. So I think America's grading is a lot tougher. There's another thing. When I worked at the junior high school, they had homework. They only collected it at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, I had just giant stacks of homework. Can you grade all this? Grade? I gotta grade all this? I'm sorry, I misspoke. Just check to see that it's done. What if the answer's wrong? Just circle. Yes. So even if it's wrong, 2 plus 2 equals 18? They did it. They put something in the blank. It still counts. So they were like, they get 3 different grading criteria. Didn't do the homework, did the homework, and then like kind of did it. So like they would do like some questions on the paper. That's the middle grading criteria. That's middle. That's also good. For the top score, they have to be perfect. And just put something in the blank. So what's this third one for? It just didn't do it at all. Okay, so what's the point of the homework then? It doesn't matter. What's the point of doing it? But they don't give a fuck. They just go, look at all these, look at all these kids that did the homework. In America, they check. Oh, your answer looks a little close to the other student's answer. Did you cheat? And then you could probably get in trouble for that. In Japan, just like, what's number 1? 2. Okay, 2. He did it. He wrote 2. It counts. So that's why they appear to do better. It's just from lying and cheating. And when no one gives a fuck about lying, and no one gives a fuck about cheating, then I don't see how any of these kids could get anything other than 100%. I mean, when I worked at the junior high school, I remember one kid got 100%, and I was like, wow, that's really good. Maybe one kid per classroom got in the 90s. So it'd be like grade 3 kids, A, B, C, D, E classes. And it's like one kid got 90, in this class 92, in this class 90, in this class 95. And then it's like 50 and down for the rest of the students. And this is basic English. I mean, I don't know about the other subjects, but from what I can tell from taking that math test for fun, I don't think they're doing better in those classes either. So, not what you think. They're not these amazing, studious students. It sounds like a Coheed and Cambria song. The amazing, studious students that studied in the Japanese school system. So, okay. Well, that's a little insight into the education system, the testing, the lack of study here.